close that and open this, and we are live. All right. So last week we did a little bit of mindset stuff. I thought you were pretty solid on mindset anyway. So
thank you.
Yeah, no, for real. Moving into recipe for success, you know, like we talked about, as you're going to scale your business, it'll be important to have a pitch you can teach somebody, you know, different you being able to just walk in and sell because you can sell. So that's kind of what this chapter is. I know you read the reading. So what part, first, before we get into it, what part stood out to you the most?
The main thing that I seen that stood out to me was that you have to love the product that you're selling, because how are you going to get someone to commit to your product if yourself is not committed to it? So to me, that stood out to me because I resonate with that. It's like, I'm not going to try to sell you on something that I'm not using, that I don't believe that works, that I haven't seen it been successful in the past. I'm not going to come present something to you that I don't believe can be in your favor to work or help you out in any way. So that really stood out to me, and I was like, wow, boom, that's on the money right there.
Yeah, and I think it kind of goes along with, too, you know, being able to guarantee your product. You know, especially in your business, when we talked about the 4 loves, and we're going to get into those in a minute, but one of the most major commitments there is, and like I said about that guy Adam from the internet company that I developed, you know, he didn't give me some special, you know, I guarantee you 500 leads a week or any of that.
Right.
He said, hey, you do the work and I guarantee the phones will ring. That was good enough for me. He guaranteed results. You know,
I love that, because he's pulling you in. You see how he did that? He pulled you in. He didn't just try to sell you on something. He sold you on your commitment as well, and pulling you in the process. That way he wasn't going to try to overpromise something he couldn't deliver, which is what you see a lot in our industry. People going selling and overpromising, and then when it comes down to the nitty-gritty, it's like the soffit and fascia wasn't included. To paint all the 5 ponds wasn't included, but yet that's what they promised. So yeah, dude, if you can get the customer to commit to doing their part and their due diligence, then it makes it a hell of a lot easier.
Right, exactly. So you understood the point of the major and minor commitments, right?
Yeah, the analogy you use with the vehicle, picking the make and model, and then you know, the minor commitments being the upgrades of the you know, the GPS or the dashboard, or you know, those are the minor commitments. But getting them to commit to the sale of your product that you're selling.
Exactly. So with that, basically the first part of the chapter is kind of covered. Important to note, like you said, being sold on your product, being able to guarantee your product will work and solve their problem is number one before any of this even starts. And also keep in mind as we go through this, being sold and being closed are 2 different things. They can buy what you have from somebody else if they're sold, but if they're closed, it's done, right? So that's what the pitch is designed to do. Because so many salespeople remember the story about the guy who goes in and that he does a great presentation, everything's perfect, and then the customer goes, perfect, I'm going to check you out against 5 more people, and then I'll get back to you. Because
and that's the problem you see with a lot of sales, is not getting through that objection of, well, we're going to shop around. What I like how you put is asking the key questions and getting the response and the yes mentality from them to get them to switch their thinking to signing the deal today. So that is important, because that's the problem we have. We do our presentation, we do our song and dance, and then we don't get the close because we weren't able to persuade them to the yes mentality.
Right. You did a presentation when in reality, sales is a conversation, you know, and the key phrase to this whole chapter, this whole week segment is where it says, when you're in sales, if you say it, you're just a salesperson trying to sell somebody something. If they say it, though, it becomes reality. And that's the purpose in getting them to tell you why. And also, I think when you're training salespeople, and I'm trying to take this from that aspect because I know you can sell, so I want you to learn to train others to do this system because that'll help you more than anything. But one of the things that you have to get through their heads is little yeses are okay with minor commitments, but they are not a commitment when it comes to the 4 loves. And when you get a commitment from somebody and ask them why, now they're going to sell themselves. They're going to go, so for instance, you got a roofing situation. You go, well, you wouldn't want to settle for a company that's not licensed and insured, would you, Mr. Jones? Mr. Jones goes, no, absolutely not. Tell me why. Right. Oh, because I don't want to pay somebody's medical bills. I don't want to have to, if something goes wrong, I don't want it to come back on me. I want you to cover it and all right. of that stuff, right? And so then you get to the close. He goes, yeah, but my neighbor can do it for half the price. And you go, well, like you said before, you wouldn't settle for a company without insurance because you don't want to pay medical bills and you don't want to be responsible if something goes wrong. That's still true, isn't it? And Mr. Jones goes, yeah, I guess I see your point. He can't really go back on his own word, whereas if you
right.
say, now, the bad salesperson or the salesperson who's not educated says, hey, it's really important that you don't go with a company that's not insured. And then, right. and then they don't get a commitment back and a why back from the customer. And then the customer goes exactly to the end. Hey, I like that you're insured. I like all this stuff. I'm just going to check you out. Tell your boss you were the best salesperson I ever met. And you're like, dude, if I was a good salesperson, I'd be leaving with a contract. You know what I mean?
You're right. So can we go through the 4 loves to a sale so everybody that's watching can understand and hit on that?
Right now. So there's 4 things, and this is every sales class I've taught for years has always had the 4 loves in there. The 4 loves. So to get into what the 4 loves are, there's major and minor commitments involved in a selling situation. The story that Savage was talking about a second ago was a story in the chapter that he read in the class that talks about a car salesman who gets a minor commitment that the navigation system is perfect. It has the heated seats that they want. It has the power that they like. Now this is exactly the car they want. It's getting them to a model by finding little things about the model that fit their needs. So the small commitments lead up to these 4 major things that they have to love. If they love these 4 things, the price they just have to like. They don't even have to love that. So right. the first thing is they've got to love you. And and I'm sure you have no problem with that. I lost your picture. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I was getting a call.
Oh, okay. I'm sure that you have no problem getting them to love you, but I think when you're training a new salesperson, it's really important not to let them get paid in cheeseburgers. And that's funny, but if you make right. best friends with the customer, it's going to be too easy for them to tell you no, right?
Right.
They have to understand the difference between being loved and respected in your industry and loved and respected as a friend or so many salespeople walk up and go, Mrs. Jones, those are beautiful petunias. My grandma used to grow petunias, and this brings me back. I'm really glad I met you today. Mrs. Jones, she's giving you cookies. She loves you. You're Eddie Haskell. She loves everything about you. But then when you get to the close, Mrs. Jones feels so comfortable with you, and you don't seem like a professional in your industry. So Mrs. Jones is like, well, I paid you in the cookies I gave you during the presentation. She doesn't say that. Happens.
As a sales professional, how do we draw that line? How do we make it known that we're here and we want to be likable, we want to be approachable, we want to be transparent, but hey, we're here to mean business. How do we draw that line?
There's so many scenarios that come up, but I say get to business and stay to business, right? You can be friendly, you can make jokes, but you have to stay to business. I've used the example in the past of a Tom Cruise movie. If you ever saw like Days of Thunder or any of the old classic Tom Cruise movies, everything in the movie was about car racing. I mean, like he's in bed with his lady and he's got a Matchbox car and he's driving it up her leg, right? The whole show. So you got to be that person. So if you're selling a car, you got to be the car guy. Like they can't imagine getting a car from anybody else because you're such a great professional in your trade. So yes, your personality has to be great. You've got to make them like you, but they have to respect you also as a business person. So another example, you walk into a home to sell a siding job and they've got cookies and cake and coffee all over the table laid out for you. I always say, you know what? I'd love some cookies, cake, coffee, all that's great, but let's get the business done first. And then I go through my pitch, get the deal, then I can eat all the cookies and coffee I want to. Well, it's about business.
But even better, if they're kind of escorting you to the door, you sit back down and you say, by the way, can I have that cup of coffee now? Now you just bought yourself more time. So
that's another tactic to stay in. Now you from in-home sales, you've been there to find a way to stay in the house. But with them loving you, I just want to make sure the line's drawn. The way that I do that, one of the biggest things is your intro, and we'll get into this in next week, but the intro to your sales presentation, I always say at the door, less is more. When a person walks onto your lot or a person walks into your retail or you walk up to the house, 30 seconds at the door and get to your measurements. 30 seconds at the door and get to the car they're looking to see. 30 seconds at the door, get to business so they know that time is valuable to you and that you're there about business, and that will set the tone for that presentation to be a business presentation. So, but the four loves, the first, if they love you, they're going to want to buy from you. And that's the most important thing. If they think you're awesome at selling whatever it is that you sell, and you're like a seasoned professional and nobody could be better at it and more involved in it, they're going to want to buy from you. So now if your price is $2,000 higher than the other guy, they want to find a way to make that $2,000 happen, whether they got to finance or whatever they have to do because they love you. So that's step one. They got to love you. The next step, I think so many sales people leave out as well, and that's the company or your brand or both, right? And every time I give a large scale class or a seminar, they always talk about, somebody always raises their hand and they're always like, well, what if I have an obscure brand? You know, nobody knows about Q-tip sales door to door, whatever the silly thing is. You know, you're like, it doesn't matter. By the time you do your company pitch, it's a separate thing. Your company, then your product. So they've got, because your product could be the best product in the world, but if they don't love your company, right, they're not going to love your product enough to buy it without your company, you know. Or they'll find a company that offers the same thing and they like the company better. So a company pitch, this is where your commitments start to come into play. You know, we offer a company that has whatever the situation, we have a 24-hour hotline. You can call us 24 hours a day. We'll be there to answer the phone if you need us. I'm sure you'd like to have a 24-hour a day hotline you could call, wouldn't you? Tell me why. Oh, my roof starts leaking at 2 a.m. I want to know who can come help me. Oh, so you want to make sure there's a 24-hour hotline, and then repeat it back to them. When you get the commitment and you get the why, teach your people to repeat it back to them. So you want your people to, we'll do an example like this. You want your people to sell, right?
Absolutely.
And you want them to sell because it's going to make more revenue for your company, right?
Yes.
Why is that important to you?
Because when the company as a whole is successful, we're all successful.
So, so you're saying you're able to provide for everybody in your company and make everything successful by being able to teach people to sell, right?
Absolutely.
So you can definitely see the value in me teaching you to show your people how to sell, correct?
Correct.
Now I got a commitment from you that's really important when I get down to the closing statement and I say, you know, hey, let's get this thing rolling. You're like, yeah, but it's a lot of money. Yeah, but anything's worth getting your people to be able to sell, isn't it? Like you said before.
Yeah,
absolutely. That's a minor commitment for my company. That's a minor commitment for my company to build up to, and this is where your four loves come into play. The first love, you're going to actually suspend the love question, and the love question comes at the end. The first love is you. So you're in your trial close, you're going to go, so have I shown you a product that you love? Have I shown you a company you love? Have I met your needs as a salesperson? Yes, yes, yes. you're getting those loves fulfilled. You're saying that you love my company, you love my product, you love my, and so next thing is going to be your guarantee. Now, this can be presented before or after the product. In home improvement, I've always presented it before the product. The product doesn't even matter if they believe in your company and you're telling the truth about your guarantee, right? If you're offering a 20-year guarantee on your product and the customer doesn't care if you put paper plates up there, if they believe your roof is going to last 20 years by your guarantee. You see what I mean? So the guarantee is saying, hey, I'm putting my money where my mouth is right now. I guarantee you that if you use the Action Closer Academy, you're going to increase your company's sales and closing rate for sure within the first month. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
And that's definitely something you want to do. So by increasing your, and so I guarantee that. Now here's how I guarantee that. I guarantee that if you put in the work and you follow the system and you teach it to your people, they'll sell more. Now, you're willing to put in the work, right?
Absolutely.
So if you put in the work, I guarantee that's going to happen. Do we have an agreement?
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? So now there's my guarantee. I guarantee I can help you do this. Or with the roof, I guarantee no matter what happens, I'll fix it for set amount of time. You see what I mean? Labor, materials, whatever. That's my guarantee. And if they buy that, now you're set for your product because, whatever that is, I guarantee we can do this for you. We can get the terms where you need them to be on your used car cert, whatever it is. You make those guarantees, and whatever any product you offer, if you can't guarantee something on it, then you're selling junk. You know what I mean? If you can't make a guarantee of something when you sell a product. So once you got those three, you, the company, and your guarantee, now you're ready to do a product pitch, and this is where every commitment counts. Every minor commitment. Which underlayment would you rather have in the home improvement field? Do you like this one that tears real easy, or do you think this is a better vapor barrier from your attic? Okay.
Right.
Or with the car. Now, would you rather have the one with the heated seats, or can you settle for something a little bit less? Well, I want the heated seats. So no matter what you do, you're going to get the heated seats, right? Now I'm doing my product demo. So no matter, so when I'm done with my product demo, I've gotten all the commitments, and this depends, and we're going to get into these questions in a minute, but this depends on what your product is. Because if your product is home improvement, then you know that you've got to get all your commitments on how it's installed and what products you're going to use, so that when you go like this, so based on everything I've shown you, do you feel I've shown you a product that would meet your needs and exceed your needs? They say yes. You go, okay, what did you like best? Or tell me why, or whatever. And they come back with that. You get the repeat back to them in place, and now you're set to go. So the four lines, again, are you, your company, your guarantee, and your product. If the customer loves those four things in any product that you're selling or service, you'll be able to get the deal at a higher number. And that's really where we're at with sales too, is you want your people making money. So if you're paying them a commission, the more they sell, the more they make, and everybody does better, like you said earlier.
Yeah, and I like how you say that, how you get them to start thinking about and colors. Because what I like to do is I'll already bring the color sample board with me. I already have them in their mind, picking out what color shingles that are going to match with their brick and their crown and all their accessories. So they're picking out their roof. I'm showing them metal samples. That way they're picking out that. So they're committing, and already in their mind, they're visualizing what their new roof is going to look like. So that's, dude, it totally makes sense.
So now they're sold.
Yeah, they're already doing the deal for you, because they're already like, all right, cool, yeah, it's gonna look great. I'm gonna love it with this color. It's gonna look nice because my neighbor across the street just got hers done, and now we're gonna have a nice roof just like them. So it's like, that's what you want.
Exactly. And now here's the thing. If you can teach your salespeople to think about commitments instead of pitching during their pitch, you'll have rock star salespeople. because if that's the reason for a sales pitch. So many sales trainers don't tell you why you're doing a sales pitch. The whole reason is to get them sold, and committed is sold. Now, no matter who they're buying, here's the state you want to be at when you do your trial close. No matter who they're buying from, they know what product, they know how they want it installed, they've committed to all those things. Now the only commitment you need to get is that final commitment, which is the agreement on the price, right? And when you funnel everything down to price, it's easy to overcome price objections. You know, when a customer's only objection is the price, how many times do people pay more? We do it all the time. I'm going to spend $150 on these shoes. I get to the store, the $150 pair looks okay, but man, there's one for $170 that I would love to pick up. And here I am walking out with a $170 pair of shoes and 10 pairs of socks because I'm already over budget. I might as well blow the whole thing now. You know what I mean? And that's how it works. You know?
I love that because that's true. That happens every time. Right. You go in the Foot Locker, it's like they upsell you on the socks and the leather treatment. It's like, well, hell, I already got upsold on the next new version. What does it matter now?
What amazes me is that commission salespeople, retail, you just pay what's on the price tag, but commission salespeople are so worried about price when it's a fact that every one of us pays more for almost every major purchase we make than we planned on when we walked in the door.
Right.
So salespeople constantly, and this is a great point to make to your salespeople, you know, when you're training them, two things. The first thing is you never walk into a store not planning to buy something. You might go to the car dealership lying to yourself and say, hey, I just want to check out some cars. But when you get in the car and you test drive that car and you come back to the lot and you love it, you're going to listen to the finance terms. And when you listen to the finance terms, at that point, you're already pretty much like, all right, man, where do I sign? You know what I mean? So that salespeople make so much harder out of what it really is. People want to buy something. You got to make it easy by getting them committed instead of beating them over the head with, you should buy this from me. I'm the best ever. Let them tell you you're the best ever.
Right.
I asked that a lot. Hey, am I the best salesperson you ever met so far? And I laugh and say yes every single time. They never tell me no. You know what I mean? And it's like, so when they're thinking about that, and I go, well, like you said, I'm the best salesperson ever. Then you're not going to come on, man. And they're like, all right, okay, all right. You know what I mean? But
right.
But that's what commitment.
That's awesome.
You know. So I want to do this in reverse now. We had some homework.
Ooh.
Did you fill those out?
No, but we could do it. Let's do it. Let's run through it.
So what's a you commitment that you can get, a minor commitment about yourself?
Kind of like what you said. I think works good. You know, when I go and start selling them the roof, and I start showing them, and I start saying, well, have I met your needs or exceeded your needs so far? Have you not met already 10 or 12 people knocked on your door? So my industry kind of makes it easy for me to go in there because it's like by that time they're pretty much ready to be sold. You know what I mean? So I get them and I go in there with a different approach, not pushing them, but kind of just enlightening them. Right. And I get them to agree. And once I get them to agree, aren't you ready for this?
I'm the customer.
Hey, Mr. Jason, how you doing? I know I've been I'm sure you've been hit up for about 10 or 12 times already, and I'm sure you're ready for this process to be over. So if I can get this roof approved and show you some pictures and show you them and get this paid through your roof company and your insurance, would you be agreeable to that work for you?
Yeah, maybe.
Well, I'll tell you what, if it makes sense and the photos and your insurance company is going to cover everything and it's a no-brainer and the insurance is going to pay for it, if I can get this approved, would you be willing to sign with me today?
Yeah, if everything makes sense.
Yeah, it's going to be a harmless process and we'll get it done. And let me just climb on your roof, and I'll be back about 10 minutes, and let's see what we can do after that. And then I'll go and get some pictures. And
all right, couple of things that I would suggest right there. When you started, you were asking questions, but you weren't letting me answer them. So try this. So, hey, how you doing today? I'm good. So let's role play it the other way. Hey, Savage, how you doing today?
Great. Best day of my life.
Hey, I bet you've been hit up about this roof a lot, haven't you?
Absolutely.
How many times?
8 times.
It's getting old, isn't it?
Pretty old.
Hey, listen, if I can make everything work right now today, you want to go ahead and get this taken care of with me?
Yeah, let's see what we can do.
You see, I just got little mini commitments, and you were right there, but let him answer, because when he says, yeah, now it's not me telling him he's been hit up 8 times. Now he's complaining to me about getting hit up 8 times. So it's even more powerful. You follow?
Yeah, I got it.
Now, as far as the you commitments, good things to say is, have I shown you everything satisfactory? Has my presentation been satisfactory? You have any questions? No, you did a good job. What did I do best? Same thing, just get little things, because every question you ask like that, it does 2 things. They're committed because they tell you, well, I think you explained things way better than the last guy. Oh, cool. I really appreciate you saying that. But also, not only that, he's selling himself, going, yeah, he did explain things better than what. You know what I mean? So it's a psychological thing. What about your brand? What's a minor commitment you can get on your brand?
As of right now, that I'm scaling my company and I'm going into next year, we're brand new. It's going to be brand new. So it's going to be Savage Roofing. So that's the angle I'm trying to, because I'm kind of taking it on the whim here this time. My other company, I was built up a reputation and a call list, and I had all the referrals. So I'm starting brand new with the Savage Roofing. So I'm kind of just, I don't know how I'm going to get the brand commitment on that end, because it's going to be brand new.
I can help you. What we're going to do is, if you want to send me some photos and literature and different stuff, we can put together a little company flip book. And you can, you go, so we're a company, talk about the owner, talk about the benefits of using your company versus somebody else, why you can be trusted. And each time you get a commitment. So, my company, we make sure that an owner or a supervisor shows up on every job every day. I'm sure you'd want to know that he's watching over your job, right?
Right.
Why is that important to you? You see what I mean? And it's right there in a book, like a cue card. You don't actually read the book, but you open it up and you say, oh, we're a company that's always got a supervisor on every single job every time. And that makes you more comfortable, right? And now you can start gaining those mini commitments by using just a little presentation tool.
Yeah, that's totally perfect. Like I've never used anything with like a cue card or any kind of like presentation as far as that. And going into this market, I would definitely need that and want to use something where they could see my credentials on a piece of paper. Exactly. And that they could see.
We're A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. I'm sure you want to deal with an A+ company, don't you?
Right.
Have you ever had an experience with a company that wasn't A+? Oh, you have? Tell me about that. You see what I'm saying? It gives you a way for the conversation. And I use one every day when I go out and sell. I just point to stuff with my pen and I say whatever I want, but it gives me a cue card to kind of keep myself in order as I'm asking my commitment questions.
Cool.
That'll help.
That's awesome. Totally.
What is your guarantee?
Right now, we got a 5-year guarantee on parts and labor. So we got a 5-year guarantee. We guarantee on delivery dates. So we always keep our start dates and our finish dates. We always committed to that, and any product and service. And we also going to be offering, the 24 online service. You got a problem, you got 24 hotline you can call in to get any kind of services. So our guarantee is solid.
Okay. Does that transfer if I sell my house?
Sure, why not?
But that's something you could put on a certificate
Right.
that talks about your guarantee. You know what I
Right.
mean? So you have a little guarantee certificate, looks like a diploma, says 5-year guarantee, lists all the things that it can do for you. So let's say your wife gets mad at you, climbs up on the roof next week, tears it off, throws it in the backyard. Guess what? I got you covered. You're guaranteed 5 years. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
and they can, and then they can go, well, that's ridiculous. Not if you tell everybody you know that happened, is it?
Right.
That's
awesome. I never even thought about that. Doing it like a little diploma and just making it look more official. That's
right. Hey, props and tools and systems sell, especially. And the difference is, again, like we talked about last week, you and I can take this pen and a contract and walk into a house and walk out with a deal. But when you start scaling and you're trying to train a sales class, you got 5 guys that don't know how to do this. It's a lot easier if you give them a flip book and a pitch book that they can go through. So then they get done with their company pitch. They take their book like this and they go, so Mr. Jones, here's your love question. Mr. Jones, based on everything I've told you so far, is my company the type of company you'd like to do business with? They say yes, you move on. They say, well, I don't know how much it costs. Well, price aside, is my company the type of company you'd want to do business with? All I need right now is that company love. I don't need the price.
right.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
book, it puts it in order so they can get those 4 loves situated.
Right out. Yeah. I love the system, and I love everything that you're saying right now. Totally makes sense to put it in a visual form, not only for the sales guy to go through it, that he's hitting all his points, but getting the customer to see and letting them sell themselves on the deal. I love that. That certificate for the guarantee, man. I didn't even thought of that. That's freaking awesome.
Right. And now, and let me ask you a question. What materials do you use? Just curious.
We use GAF. Our shingles.
Start program or anything like that?
Yeah, they got for the contractor lead program. So depend on your volume. So we get rebates for us as far as how much we're selling.
Yeah, like most of the brands. The reason I'm asking is most of the brands have some kind of, if you're qualified, like I know Owens Corning is like platinum preferred contractor. You pay them $10 a square and they actually cover your material and labor.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's something you could offer as an upsell too. If it's $10 a square for you, charge 15 and make $5 a square on the.
Yeah, for sure. Just being back. You gotta go.
Well, it's 8:30 and it's her bedtime, and she's getting squirmy already.
Okay. There's my little mini seller. Say hi, Jason. Okay.
You sure?
Yeah.
She's already changed. Oh, what she's got the pen.
All right.
Okay.
So we're just about wrapped up anyway.
Yeah.
So when you're training your people, that when you get to that point, that's what we need to do is develop a book for you to teach them to go through in the process. It'll make your ability to train them times easier when they have a system to go through. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. I'm totally on board. That makes that's a no-brainer, man. Like I agree with you. We need to do that for sure.
Cool, 100%. So we got the 4 loves. What we're gonna do for next week? I sent you over the email. So there's a bunch of there's some more reading in there, and what it's going to be is we're actually going to next week develop that book, or at least the material that's going to be in it. That's the next step. It's going to go from intro. It's going to teach you how to teach them intro, fact finding, appraisal, company pitch, guarantee pitch, product pitch, trial close, and it's all. You'll have all the information. Once we got that information, we can get together and actually put the pictures and make it look exciting on paper, and then just laminate it, put it in a binder, and you're all set.
Cool, man. I'm excited.
All right,
I'm excited, man.
Well,
I'm excited, dude.
Yeah, this was a good class, man. I had fun, and we made some good progress and stuff like that. So
awesome. Cool.
All right,
same time, same place next week.
You know, yep. And you know how I finish every live, even though this is a class and we're not interacting, I got to do it one time. All right. All right.
Awesome, brother. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
To all you that don't know, Action Closer Academy. Look up Jason Howland. Tons and tons of knowledge and content. Nuggets the whole time.
All right. Awesome, man. Thank
So
you.
I appreciate you, brother.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.